call the open session meeting of for the May meeting of the Rancho Murieta Association Board of Directors to order. Darlene, can we get a roll call, please?
Bob Lucas.
Here.
Larry Shelton.
Here.
Cheryl McElhaney.
Here.
Rob Brown.
Here.
Alex Bauer.
Here.
It's noted that Tim Maybe and Sam Summers are absent.
We'll put it down as unexcused. At
They're
this
out
point.
fooling around.
I think they saw the audience that was here and decided to skip out. All right, first order of business is public comments. The public shall have the opportunity to directly address the board on any items of interest. Public comments on items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the board are welcome, subject to reasonable time limitations for each speaker. If you wish to address the board at this time, please state your name and lot number and reserve your comments to no more than 3 minutes so that others may be allowed to speak. No action will be taken. Each item of business will be introduced by the president. Public comment for that item will be open and the public will have the opportunity to speak on that item. Public comment for that item will then be closed and no additional public comment will be allowed. At that time, the board will discuss the item and then take action. Do we have any public comments? Well, come to the podium and stand up and give us your name and lot number.
Hi, my name is Mike Burke, lot 3183. And I just wanted to thank the board for putting in the pickleball courts. I know there's been a lot of stuff said on social media, a lot of comments going back and forth from, I think, the Rancho Murieta Moms group. Some of them were not real happy that those got put in, but I will tell you, they've been used every day since the nets got put in. There's a group that play every day. There's others that have used it. I was out there on Mother's Day. I saw 3 different families use it, including mine. I think it's a great thing. I think they're going to be very busy. You'll probably be looking at maybe putting in more in the future because I think the demand, in fact, I know the demand is there. It's the fastest growing sport in America, as I think we've probably discussed before. So anyway, thank you very much. You did a great job, and I know we all appreciate it. Thank you.
But I think Jim Moore behind there, who was our former president, I think was a driving force. But if we're going to put more pickleball courts, I think dog parks have to go.
Jim Moore, lot 2011.
Let me remind you, there's a strict 3 minute.
3 minutes. I know we got started on the pickleball course when I was on the other side of the table there. And I want to thank the board for following through on that. And especially thank Rod and his crew for doing the courts look just magnificent. I mean, they are professional looking, and it's a nice addition to Rancho Murieta. And yeah, they're getting a lot of use. Unfortunately, some of the use is not by pickleball players. I talked to Rod before the meeting. We might want to think about maybe some signage. We saw skateboarders jumping the net and
Oh, great.
soccer players kicking the ball into the net. And so that's, you know, when they're vacant, somebody's going to find a use for them that nobody ever dreamed of. So
Yeah, I think some signage, and I can't remember what the tennis courts have, but similar signage probably to what the tennis courts have, something over there.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
reasonable, limited.
So thanks again. I'd like to stay for the whole meeting, but I have to go put my electric bike together.
Let me ask you, Jesse. You may want to stick around to find out the result of that. But how's that? How is the pickleball courts up here on Stonehouse impacted usage in the south on the tennis courts now? Are they still being used the same amount? And then
I don't know how much I know the group that my wife is part of, they've started using Stonehouse. So I don't know, but I do know because I'm up at the dog park and I see the the usage of the new courts, and it's, in fact, the first morning they were open, they were getting used.
Good, I'm glad to see it. I mean, I know there was a demand, and I'm glad the demand's hopefully being met.
Yeah,
So,
thanks again.
all right, thanks, Jim. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, we'll close public comments. Next item is the consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered routine and will be approved by one motion. There will be no discussion of the item unless the director requests a specific item be removed. Does any director wish to remove an item? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar?
I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar as prepared.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next item of business are the minutes. We have two sets of minutes. The first are the minutes for the April 18, 2017 regular open session meeting of the board. Do we have any motion to approve
I'll
those?
move to approve those.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any comments, corrections, changes? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the April 18, 2017 meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next, minutes are for the April 20, 2017 special joint meeting with the CSD board. That was our trail tour that we conducted with CSD. Can we get a motion to approve those?
I move to approve the April 20th meeting minutes.
Do a second?
I'll second it.
Hillary seconds it. Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved unanimously. And the next item of business is my report on executive session. Prior to today's meeting at 5:30, we met in executive session. We approved the minutes of the April 18th executive session. We approved legal invoices, and we discussed issues involving correspondence from our council with regard to development. And that was everything that we discussed in executive session tonight, and then we adjourned for this meeting. Greg, General Manager report.
My first item is the update on the Greens Park. I talked to TSD Engineering today. The county has approved the plans, so the only thing we're waiting on now is for the fire department to sign off on the plans. And so I'm sure the fire department is probably wondering why they're reviewing the plans, because there's really nothing that can burn there. But anyway, we'll work with the fire department this week to get their sign off, and then we can go ahead and start ordering materials and scheduling the start of construction. The second item is the update on the pickleball courts. I just want to report that the courts are complete, and that we've talked about having a ribbon cutting. Maybe in the next 2 weeks we'll get out and have a ribbon cutting and invite some of the people that play pickleball to come and take part in the ribbon cutting.
I will get to wield the presidential scissors, I think, for the first time.
And then the last item is the update on the fountains. 4 of the fountains have been up and running. The 5th fountain is still not running. SMUD needs to make some additional modifications to their wiring. They're supposed to be out on Friday, and so hopefully by Friday all 5 fountains will be in operation. And also the pump building, or the pump house that we've had over on the lake, that for probably the last 15 years, we've said we're going to put a permanent enclosure around it. That enclosure is complete, so now it's got a block wall around it. So it looks much better than it has in the past. And I think the people that live around the lake aren't looking at what was really an eyesore. I think also it's going to help with the noise that came from the pump house. And that's the end of my report.
All right, thanks, Greg. Committees, Finance Committee, Cheryl.
The Finance Committee did not meet this month, so I don't have a report.
All right, ARC is Mark, are you gonna handle the ARC?
Okay, the architectural review meeting met on April the 20th, and we reviewed common area lease amendments. We also reviewed driveway parking variance, room addition, arborist report, preliminary set of plans for residents, and we also have 3 leases to bring forward today. First one that I would like to take on, that's just a transfer of ownership, lot 1702. The item B.
So,
Just have a change of ownership.
just a change of ownership, so I'll go ahead, since we don't have, Sam here, I'll go ahead and move to approve the transfer of ownership, common lease agreement for lot 1702. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, okay, passes unanimously. What's the next one, Mark?
Okay, then let's take up lot 246, that is amendment to an existing common area lease, which includes a concrete patio, lawn, landscape, art, ornamental fencing, AC unit with a screen wall, and then there's an existing trash and storage.
I can't remember what I did earlier.
Report, we sent out letters to 15 residents. 10 had no comment, 5 had no objection, and 0 objected. So we'd like to recommend to the board approval.
I'll move to approve lot number 246, common area lease. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Are there any comments, questions? This is, you said there's an amendment only, I
This
guess,
is
Mark?
an amendment
Yeah.
to the existing lease.
Okay, it doesn't add any more, does it add any more square
Yes,
footage?
it does, it adds additional square footage.
Okay.
The original lease was 22 square feet, so they're adding 1,111 square feet.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? At all in favor of approving the common area lease for lot 246, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
Then the last lease that I bring forward is the lease for lot 1017. And that is for an underground propane tank and gas line. And that is full. We sent letters out to 13 residents. 6 residents had no comment, 4 residents had no objections, 3 residents objected. Comments are listed in your packet. Most of the concern was in reference to existing redwood trees. There was a little concern regarding the installation of an underground propane tank, but they don't understand how it operates. But in addition to that, they asked us to obtain an arborist report, which is also included in your packet. And the ARC committee approved this common area lease following the recommendation of the arborist for installation of that underground propane tank. The tank will be the hole will be hand dug, and a certified arborist will be on site during the entire time that excavation and installation is done to ensure any roots that they may encounter will be addressed. And in addition to that, we're going to try to add additional water to those trees in that particular area.
Are those trees on RMA property or the,
Yes, they are. They're common area.
All right, so.
and the construction of the digging and everything, that's within the drip line of these trees, right?
It's the very edge, as you'll see in the graphic that's represented.
Yeah. The three people that did object were pretty pretty vocal about their concerns.
We've been burying tanks for over 20 years now, and we have done them in and around trees. The redwood trees are not protected, and the committee feels that the trees will be fine. It's just that we try to appease the residents by having an arborist report done, and getting the opinion of the arborist. And based on what the arborist has recommended, we are recommending following that recommendation from the arborist.
I think it's smart that you did get the arborist report. To move the discussion report, I'll move to approve the common area lease for lot 2017.
It sounds like they did their due diligence, so I'll second that.
Okay, any other comments? Do we have any, since there was an objection to people in the audience, any public comment on the proposed lease? Do we have any other?
I have a question. When you have a strong letter such as we got on this, do you meet with those people? Do you give them back a letter?
With them, we actually brought them back in when we received the arborist report and discussed it with them during our committee meeting.
Okay.
Did they have a response to that? Were they satisfied with that, or were they
They
still?
were okay with that. The one thing that we had talked about is if the trees, if something for some crazy reason happened to the trees, we would replace the trees.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds to me like you've done your due diligence and covered all the bases. And I think it was appropriate to get the arborist report and have the community review that. So I don't have a problem with going ahead and approving it.
We got a motion and a second, right?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Questions? All right, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously.
That's,
All right, thank you, Mark. Let me make sure we go in order. So we don't have to go last.
That's my place.
Communications committee. Cheryl.
We haven't met this month either.
That's okay.
Committees and none of them met.
I see Brandon hiding back there. Does Greenfield have any comments to make?
Yeah, maybe we could have Brandon. Oh, shucks.
Had to put you on the spot.
Start wearing a disguise.
So you can hide.
That's all right. So I guess the only thing we have to update is right now we're in our last probably week with Dish Network negotiating our programming to be changing it possibly in June, adding additional channels to our current package.
And that would be that's for the basic.
For the basic, yes.
And what channels are you adding?
It depends on what they, we'll be talking with the communications committee on what channels may be added. So we'll be bringing that, but the channels will be changing.
Will that have a fee increase associated with it?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. It depends on what Dish and us finish negotiating, but we're almost done. So in June, expect something different.
Well, it sounds like you're going quicker than Dish and whatever you or whatever it was.
Are you going to realign the channel configuration?
Yes and no. So the majority of channels will probably be the same, but I believe we're going to be removing a lot of the Spanish channels and some of the home shopping channels and whatnot, and replacing those with other things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
How's the cable removal and burying and all that kind of stuff going?
Pretty much we're done. I think there's only 7 or 8 locations that we haven't finished putting together, and that's just because we've ordered custom PEDs for those locations. So there's some that were above ground that we're putting underground, and due to roots and other utilities in the area, we've custom ordered 7, I think, that we only have left to do.
You've to get through streets and across streets and everything, you've made this half-inch or whatever cut in the asphalt, and then after you got the line in, you've kind of put a seal coat or something over that, but the cracks are still there, and I've got some near me that are actually growing weeds out of now.
Correct, and actually we have an order with our subcontractor to install those, and many other areas in Rancho that we've actually asked them for warranty work to come back and reseal those.
Okay.
And so we have, I think, 45 days or 60 days, somewhere in there left to see if they're going to do warranty work or if we ourselves are going to be doing that. So
Good, but they will be filled in, is that what you're saying?
they will be filled in either by our subcontractors who originally did that or by us. It just, we're working on that with them. And so, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Are the
So-
calls reduced, are the calls reducing themselves each month as they had been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have very few calls right now. I mean, we had a lot of calls about just landscaping in general. We had a lot of that. And then we've had a lot of, actually, we've had a lot of customers increase because we have our promotion of just a free month, just to try Greenfield out. We have, I think, in the last week, 8 people take us up on that offer. So, and a lot of people have seen us finish setting the PEDs and whatnot, and so they're calling in due to that, asking us for, now that we're done to, try us out. So, but other than that, the customers with issues, it's very minimal. Very
My-
minimal.
I would say I haven't had any calls.
My Giants had a terrible pixelation problem last night.
Oh, your Giants? Yeah, Giants.
Talk about that game. No, I haven't had any complaints to me, and that's not an invitation to start complaining to me. I'm gonna remind you Cheryl's the communication.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's going good. I think
That's going good, yeah.
It's kind of as we had expected, many months ago, a year ago, once we wound down.
And actually, we have, the only other issue you'll see us out working is I think we have about 30 locations that we've identified where we want to change out their PEDs from above ground to flush mounts. And so we're kind of, you'll see our guys out there kind of working on random yards, removing those.
All right, great. Anything else? All right, thanks, Brandon.
Yep.
Compliance. Is that you, Denise?
Yes, it is. The committee met on Monday, May 1st. They reviewed, heard 7 hearings made for a long meeting, and then reviewed all of the violations listed in your packet. And you can see in your packet also is the summary of violations. So the ones with the blue stripes are the ones that RMA does, and then CSD's reports are also in there. And that's the end of Tim's report, unless anybody has any questions.
So, I noticed speeding tickets are way down on the CSD. Are they not issuing citations for speeding?
Maybe people are starting to pay attention to the signs.
Maybe your newsletter,
Yeah,
newsletter, yeah.
But I find it hard to believe that there was only 3 people caught speeding.
Well, I think the key word there is caught.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look over,
For May, we had 14.
Oh, I was looking at March.
Yeah, May. May's 14.
I was looking at the CSD report.
Property maintenance was way up. I'm sure it's because things are starting to grow and
Yeah. So, all right, nothing else, Denise?
no, that's it.
All right, next item is governing document committee, and we'll deal with that. Governing documents met on May 8, 2017, to review 2 proposed non-architectural rules. And we'll talk about the first one first, was to allow electrical personal assistive mobility devices. And you will see that copy of the draft rule in your packet. An electric, you need to keep it quiet. Yeah. Electric personal assistive mobility devices are segways. More colloquial, I guess, branch terms. Compliance committee had drafted a rule and was forwarded to governing documents for its comments, corrections. We made some minor changes Originally, it had been under section 1, the proposed rule was part of section 1 of the rule 2 for motor vehicles. We decided it was better to put it in its own section, so we moved it to section 16, which is at the end of the non-architectural rules for motor vehicles. And then just some stylistic changes more than anything else. So you see that, like I said, it's in your packet. You can see what was read is what was done by the compliance committee, and the blue font is what governing documents. Make corrections to.
That rule is consistent with California's rule that also allows electric wheelchairs on public sidewalks and streets.
Yes, in fact, when we were looking at it, we found that individuals on Segway are actually treated as, under the vehicle code, as pedestrians.
Mm-hmm. And I certainly feel like one too.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it when you were out on the trail. It was fun to see it down there. So I will make a motion. Next step would be to send the rule out for public comment. So I'll move that we send the proposed rule on the electric personal assistive mobility devices out for public comment.
I'll second that.
Any further comments? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Passes unanimously. The next item was a proposed non-architectural rule that compliance committee afforded to us to allow certain electric bicycles in the north. As you recall from our meeting last time, the compliance committee had concerns as to whether writing the rule was appropriate under CCNRs. And went ahead and wrote the rule because that's what they were instructed to do, even though they had their concerns, and reported it back to the board, and the board sent it to the governing documents committee to review its compliance with the CCNRs and to make any changes that felt necessary. The committee spent a considerable amount of time and effort looking at vehicle code sections, looking at the CCNRs, looking at what the CCNRs allow, what type of authorized vehicles are restricted on the north and what are not, based on CCNR language, and came to the conclusion that, and we also reviewed the legal opinion that our counsel did on the issue that you've seen as well, and the committee came to the conclusion that the language likely violated our CCNRs, and they recommended no changes be made to the section on the use to include the electric bicycles at that time, and the vote was to recommend to the board not to proceed with that rule. Any questions, comments, anything else?
I do think that since we do have people that are using electric bikes in the north, which now is illegal, well, it always has been illegal, but it's confirmed by the governing docs group that it's illegal. I do think that we need to strongly look at changing the CCNRs. This is only a wave of the future that's going to get more and more numerous, of people using very quiet vehicles for transportation, exercise, and various other things. And I think it's just old rule that we need to seriously look at modifying. And I understand the complication of changing the CCNRs, so my suggestion is that we somehow put this on hold. The staff kind of shelve it until we have more items that need to be changed in the CCNRs and group that with it.
Just for further clarification, the committee, I agree with your recommendation that the CCNRs need to and should be changed to better reflect probably clearly allowing certain vehicles such as electrical bicycles, or certain classes at least of electrical bicycles in the community.
One of the current uses is, it kind of falls into the category a little bit of wheelchairs and segways because it's used by someone who has a minor handicap, and that's his means of not only transportation, but also exercise. So I think that's a significant thing that we need to address.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And so I think, yeah, at some point we need to address, making some sort of changes along that line. I mean, I know we've done it, or tried to do it with motorcycles, so I don't know how the community will feel, but I guess if we can move forward at some point with the CCNR change, we'll find out, so. Anyway,
I don't think it would be as contentious as motorcycles.
what's that?
I don't think it would be as contentious as motorcycles.
You know, depending on how the rule or the CCNR was
Right,
drafted,
yeah.
but they may put a bike fee before we
Well,
change the CCNR.
The only problem is now that they're producing electric motorcycles now.
There's what?
They're producing electric motorcycles now. So
Totally
then what happens
quiet?
if somebody comes in with an
Totally
electric
quiet?
motorcycle?
The difference is that an electric bike can use trails and pathways that are currently dominated by golf carts and
And they convert to
a regular bicycle.
regular bicycles.
Right, but the argument against motorcycles is the noise. If you have an electric motorcycle,
Well,
there's no
noise and, yeah, noise and motorized, you know, so.
No, I think, yeah, further studies is important, whether it's CCNR or somehow crafting a rule that maybe further defines what a motorized two-wheel vehicle
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
And isn't, might be an appropriate way to do it too. But anyway, I think further studies, and I think the governing documents can be further study the issue is not inappropriate.
Do we have anybody requesting permission to do this in our community?
Oh, we have people doing it
I know
without
we have
asking.
people doing it. We don't have anybody actually
I
requesting
think
it.
our committee, it seems like it's what the rules is a solution in search of a problem. But I do recognize they were out there in the community. So, or I heard, I haven't seen, but I understand.
Okay.
And I think there's some certain concerns about that. I think we've identified some people.
But we don't have compliance officers stopping these people or anything like that?
Well, I mean, we're not having compliance officers
Might not be a
stopping people
problem.
for speeding in their cars.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know, probably not, I mean, there's only, you know,
Yeah.
there's prioritization of what they're looking at too, so. Anyway, I'm not saying that they wouldn't enforce the rule if they.
Yeah, if you told them to.
They're told to. Or not, but anyway. All right, well, that's the end of my report then.
Okay.
Next item would be maintenance committee.
Well, the maintenance committee did not meet this month. However, Rod furnished us with an update, some of which you've already heard. The Front Lake Fifth Fountain hopefully will be operational within a week. And the irrigation pump house, which Greg also pointed out, is the walls are up. It needs to be, the cracks need to be grouted, and a custom gate is currently being made to lock people out. And just as soon as that happens, the screen that's locked up around it will go away. And the pickleball courts, as you know, have been finished. Weed abatement will begin just any day now, with the mowers starting on both ends of the community and working to clean up everything. The Greens Park, as Greg pointed out, will begin shortly also, the grading on it as soon as they can get the fire department approval. And concrete repairs on gutters and sidewalks are to be done in May at Clementia Drive and Navarre Drive. And the asphalt work is out on bid, or the bid is being worked on, and our next meeting will be June 5th. And Rod, I see you grabbed the microphone, so.
Just in case you had a question.
Okay. Do you need anything else covered?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. Very good. That's it.
All right, thanks, Larry. Parks committee.
And the Parks Committee did not meet this month. So we're just continuing to wait for more information regarding development proposal maps and things like that, and that's not been ready for us to meet yet, so it'll be probably not till July that we meet again.
Thanks, Cheryl. Alex, last committee, Recreation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Recreation Committee has had some discussion and is going to issue a bit of a revision. So the Recreation Committee recently announced some rules for the 4th of July parade. The rules weren't universally popular, but the comments and feedback generated were very helpful, and we thank everyone who took the time to call with their comments. The committee's had some discussions, as I mentioned earlier, and we've reviewed the comments from members of the community, and we've revised the rules regarding vehicles. Resident vintage vehicles will be allowed in the parade, and vintage is defined as a vehicle dated as 1969 and older. And again, our goal is to make this parade fun and safe for everyone, and we think that this is a change that we can still be able to carry that on. So that is the report from the Recreation Committee.
I just wanted to remind everybody it's not too early to get your 4th of July passes. It's 5 free passes for each lot and then $5 per pass after that. And a pass covers 1 vehicle. We do this to try to not have so much backup at the gate. And we issue anywhere from 1,800 to 2,300 passes per year. And it kind of depends on the day of the week. If it's on a Saturday, Friday or Saturday, we have the population swells a lot more than it does on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So anyway, those will be available. And we have the Giants game upcoming against the Mets on June 25th. The cost is $79. It's a 1 o'clock game. The bus leaves at 9:30. And then we have the Giants versus the Chicago Cubs on Wednesday, August 9th, $79. The bus leaves at 9:15 for a 12:45 game. We also have bingo on June 30th at 6 o'clock. Alex called our last game for us, and he did a great job, so I'm hoping he'll be available on this one.
Well, I think if the price is right, you certainly can hire me.
Terrific. And that's the end of Alex's report.
I do have a sort of a comment, I guess, on the vintage vehicles. I'm still sort of troubled by limiting it to vintage vehicles. I'm glad we're allowing vehicles back in the parade, but limiting it to vintage vehicles to 69 or older. I know the original intent was we had, and if the community's not aware, we had in the last few years numerous vehicles from outside the community coming in, and I think really the intent is to limit it, or I think the intent should be to limit it to residents. And so maybe if somebody has a show-worthy car or parade-worthy car that's not a vintage 1969 vehicle, maybe they can come to RMA and discuss it, and we can allow it.
Is there a registration process for people that want to put cars in, so we know that they are a resident?
We haven't done that in the past, but I think this year going forward we'll do it, easy one, name, address, type of car, that kind of a thing. We got some input from different people, some of who have vintage cars, as to where you draw the line as far as date.
So how was that determined?
What?
The 69.
Just based on input we got from other people that had called.
There's a vehicle code about how a car can be declared an antique, and I think it's after 40 years. You can get a antique or a vintage license, and that probably should be a criteria for our breaking point. It seems to be more logical about, because it's defined by.
Well, let's give it a shot this year with what we've got. We can tweak it next year and the year after, if it works out or if it doesn't. Sometimes you just have to try things.
Okay.
So
and I guess, suggest that the Recreation Committee not have that as a hard and fast rule, but have some flexibility if somebody has a.
How old's your car, Jim?
I don't have a car that's, nobody wants to see my car.
But you'd indicated that you know of a young man who's kind of rebuilt a car.
Yeah, and I don't know how old it is, but.
So I think
you know.
there should be, I think people should have the ability to come up and say, would you make an exception for this particular case? And the Recreation Committee can make that
Yeah,
decision.
I mean, if somebody like restores a 72 Camaro or something,
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah.
you know, like a show-worthy kind of car, and they wanna drive it in the parade, I don't see a problem with that. I think, yeah, just come talk to RMA about it.
Yeah, definitely give us a call.
All right. Anything else? We have no correspondence, at least in our packet this month. All right, next board meeting is June 20th, at 6:30 PM here at the RMA building. And we are adjourned.
Tim and Sam gone, look at.
Yeah,
I know, jeez, we're not here until 8 o'clock?
All the witty repartee.